Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing great. How you doing, runner? Uh, I'm doing a live indoors, so I'm gonna keep it kind of low. Too many mosquitoes out there. Yesterday, when I came back inside, I was bitten all over, man. My arms, my feet. So I'm just going live here inside my house. Hope everybody's doing great. I figured out the problem with the laptop. I could turn on the lights back there. This living room here has a light like further out, so it's got no central light. So the light that I got on is from my cabinet right now. That you're able to I can get some lighting. But I hope everybody's doing great. As for me, man, I slept all day. I was like literally slept all day. I was so tired from yesterday when I went out there and investigate. It's like my energy got zapped big time. Uh, I debunked the video I did off my phone, in which it looked good. I did not see no kind of activity within the video besides where my hair stood up in the video. I might place that video, and the camera quality was real good off my phone. So I'm thinking it was just a connection, maybe, possibly, uh, when I was trying to go live from Facebook that was causing that. How you doing, Sister Delana? I hope you're doing great today. Right here, I have a bunch of minerals. Uh, Check it out. A nice little. Oh, there you go. Little tower. I got all kinds of minerals. I'm a mineral collector. Spheres, specimens. I got this right here. I got my all my specimens right here. In this where I'm doing the live. Have you ever seen? There's a rose quartz. So if there's anything trying to surface up, right here is a safe haven. Inside my house is a safe haven because it's well protected spiritually from anything unseen. So this is check out this one. Look at this one real quick. Check out it. Oh, look at that. That specimen, y'all. Sorry about that. But yeah, the mosquitoes got me pretty good yesterday. They got me. I was feeling it all day. The mosquito bites. I hope everybody's having a great evening. I seen somebody post something earlier about they showed a picture of a lechusa, where they wanted to hear more stories of a lechusa, and they created like how lechusa would look. Uh, no, they had created something themselves. Uh, the only thing I can say, I don't think you want to encounter a lechusa. They're very mischievous, and they're never alone. They always travel with others. So the advice that I can give y'all is like what happened to me, where the lechusa was looking at me from behind a tree. He was like literally standing on the ground, and he was like 5'6". It was a white owl lechusa looking at me, and when I was looking at it, I wasn't trying to focus too much on it because I know that they always travel in numbers. Uh, to my understanding, The white lechusa represents like a white witch. The the dark lechusa, which is black, represents a dark witch. How you doing, Primo Jesse Carvajal? How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing great. I can talking about lechusas tonight, cousin. Uh, Maybe I can send you an invite. Let me see. Uh, no, we'll do one next time together. How you doing, Alex? Una bruja, bro. I seen one here in Las Vegas. Uh, you need to do a cleansing, brother Alex. Saludos, dude. Um, yeah, brother Alex. You need to do a cleansing of your body. You know, if there's a curandera, if you feel sick ever since you seen the lechusa, they most likely placed a hex on you. So you do a cleansing, somebody a healer to cleanse your body from head to toe to get the how should I say the the hex or whatever they wished upon you off of you, or uh, you can bless your home to bless yourself from head to toe, and you can call upon Jesus Christ and do a cleansing in that manner. Uh, you place heavenly crosses on your windows, on your doorways, any passageway, closets, um, with either holy water or something pure like olive oil. And then you go into prayer, you know, and wherever you feel where the negativity is at, you pray up, to Jesus Christ to come and assist you. You know, you tie, bind, and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name to get rid of the negative attachment. Tell it you're taking authority over it, that is not welcomed upon you or within your household. And you couple on Jesus Christ, and you know you type out and rebuke it through Jesus Christ, and you send it away. That's good, dude. Oh yeah, yeah. The witches that travel in numbers, man. Uh, I had one where the what's the name of your channel, brother Alex? You can put it here so people can subscribe to your channel if you'd like. Um, the travel year out. There was one evening where I was seeing an owl nearby. You know, it was who you can tell when it's an owl that's making the hoot sound. So it started getting real close. So I went outside. Then I seen like somebody walking, like wobbling in the middle of the road. Looked like a woman, but they were working funny. They were walking side to side, you know, kind of like a penguin would do. And I'm trying to figure out what was going on. And she started heading onto the park. It was a uh, dark shadow figure, but it was a silhouette. But you could see it was somebody. But they were wobbling on the road in the middle of the road. They're going like this. They're pretty tall. So when I followed it to the park, then I didn't see her no more. But I seen them all on top of the trees. You could see their eyes looking at me. I would say there was like at least 50 of them just there on the looking at me from the trees. So I did the sign of the cross and I started praying and I walked backwards away from that and just turned around and walked away. I felt it was like a setup, uh, but it was a lot on the trees, man. They were everywhere. It's kind of like they were calling me out. You know what I'm saying? But I had a dream of how how she looked afterwards because when you brush against something evil like that, spiritually, I was shown what it was. Let me see what this is. Don't know who's trustworthy here. Everybody's trustworthy here, brother Alex. The people that are here are pretty trustworthy. And there's some trolls that jump in once in a while, like around 2, 3 in the morning, 2:30, 3 in the morning. Sister Delana says she knows people from Vegas and New Mexico. Yes, I've had an encounter with skinwalkers here in Central Texas. It's kind of like where they kind of originated from. Uh, the natives, they were called Tonkawa. The natives in Central Texas, there were, uh, how should I say, dirty Indians. They worked with the United States Cav on horse regiments. They wasn't into agriculture or nothing like that. They were just into meat. So you could say they were into cannibalism, which eating humans. That's what they would do. The enemy, they would eat the flesh, which that's why there's a lot of skinwalkers, shapeshifters, or slash what people call wendigos. Uh, but the natives that were lived in Central Texas, when they were working with the Cavs, they were like their scouts. Like they knew where the Cherokee and the Apache were, so they would take the scouts when they were looking for a fugitive. And when they captured the fugitive, sometimes they would kill the fugitives. There was a story where a Cav soldier was looking for the prisoner, and he found those natives from Central Texas cannibalizing them, eating them. That he was like freaked out that they were eating that soldier. So what happened was all the other tribes got together and they came hunting for them here in Central Texas. They were wiping them out like a massacre. Uh, the government, since they were scouts, they interfered. So a lot of them got murdered. They interfered and they took the remainder and moved into Oklahoma. So in Oklahoma, they were there for a little bit, and they started doing the same things they was doing in Central Texas. Started killing natives and cannibalize them. The governor from over there said, "Hell no!" He grabbed uh, some of them and brought them back to Central Texas. Brought them back. So when they brought them back, the tribes came at them again. And start massacring them again. The governor interfered, cut the remainder of them, and moved them to Las Vegas, to New Mexico, and was it to New Mexico and Arizona. This that's where they moved the last place that I know of that they went to. What all these places have in common is sightings of skinwalkers and shapeshifters, but it's because of those natives that were cannibalistic. How you doing, Sister Ivy, Brother Alex? Yes. So all this skinwalker, shapeshifter activities happens in Oklahoma, in Texas, and New Mexico, uh, and Arizona, where this natives they moved them around, but they were cannibalized. So you could feel this. It's a form of Wendigo, like a Wendigoism. And then they have those abilities of a shapeshifter and be a shapeshifter skinwalker. They were pretty tall natives, pretty tall natives, and they were just into meat. At one point in time, here in Central Texas, there used to be buffalo. So they would hunt the buffalo. What they would do is get them near edge of a cliff or a ridge, and they will push them down, push them off. So if, they break their legs or whatever, then it's easy prey for them to attack. In that sensible way, they would attack people that way too. Set them up to get near a certain location where all they had to do is just push them, push them off. I got pushed by an unseen force off a ridge, and I believe it was those spirits of the natives that used to live here that did that. They were live in the woods. There were how should I say, live near the creeks where there was a source of water. That's where they would live. Yes, brother Joe. They come out at nighttime, man. I'm letting you know. I know I put the title Lechusa, but this is a switch topic to this right now. Uh, they have the ability to shapeshift into a Lechusa also. I don't, boss. They're shapeshifters. They cannot shapeshift into anything, to a fox, to a coyote, uh, to a person, to a beastly creature, uh, what people call lycanthrope, werewolf, dogman, Bigfoot. They have those abilities. I believe the shaman also had those abilities. I think there were certain natives that were dabbling in the dark arts. So those are the ones that are the wicked ones. The ones that make deals with demons and stuff like that. That they have those capabilities to shapeshift. If I need to get me some equipment, so when I do go and investigate, like during the night, because I can see them visually. At nighttime, they just look like a shadow figure, but it's, I believe, the disembodied form of them. Um, Sometimes it will manifest to look into their true form of the native, how they look. They have no. They were called dirty Indians because they never wore clothes, so they're like literally naked. They were like naked. So when you see them, they have no clothes. They have this this a fur, like the face of the animal on top of here, and the hide on the back, and that's a manifestation that they take. Every any hide that it has, it can manifest to that form of that animal. Uh, I remember when me and my son ran into the den. There's a den out there in the open field in Elms Grove where there was nothing but dead animals. But what was on the ground was the hide of the animals. What was left, uh, whether it was chihuahuas, uh, there was some dead raccoons, that some dead foxes, just different animals that were dead out there, but their hide was left behind. What is the name? Is that what is the name of your channel, brother? One more time, Alex Devato adapts. Yeah, I've ran into a shapeshifter numerous times in Central Texas. Uh, just the only thing I can tell you is if they're in the form of a person, pay attention to their eyes because their eyes will have like a orange glare, like a orange yellowish glare. That's when you know that's the shapeshifter. It's by the way the eyes look. I had an experience where It was a Philippine lady. Um, she'd been there for 30 years in the park, and she would tell me not to go into that wooded area when I first got there. And I asked her why, and she said because there's something evil there. And then I asked her if she could explain. She said that she was in the woods uh, getting flowers, and that this giant snake came out of the woods and wrapped itself around her. That it was looking her in the face, and he had red eyes, and he started talking to her. She didn't tell me what the snake said. The only thing she told me is, "Stay out of the woods. There's something evil there." Then one day, uh, I seen her son standing outside the fence near the shed, and I had never met her son before. The only thing I knew, she had a son that lived in New Mexico, a New Mexico area in Arizona. He was like a supposedly, well, I seen him, I started talking to him. He said he was from the New Mexico and Arizona area. He said he was like a historian, right? They would take records of the natives. Then he told me, "You see those woods over there?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Don't go in there." I said, "Why?" He said, Have you heard what a lycanthrope is?" I said, "Yeah, yes." So that's what's in there. Lycanthrope shapeshifter. Don't go in there. That's its home. So you go in there, so that's where it lives. And I was like, "Well, man, thank you for the information. I didn't know." And I just said bye to him. But when he was looking at me, he had like a yellowish, yellowish orange glare in his eyes, and he just gave me a smile. So I turned around and walked away. Like 6 months later, she had sold a mobile home, and they had pulled out the mobile home because she had bought a house. And I seen the guy inside the fence by the shed taking out tools. So I went up to him. I said, "Hey, bro, how you doing, man?" I was like, "How's the Arizona area?" And and he said, "I don't even know who you are." You know, I said, "Who are you?" I said, "You were talking to me here last time. You told me not to go into the woods. That you were a historian. You with the natives from New Mexico and Arizona area." And he looked at me again and said, "I don't even know who you are, man." So I said, "All right, man." So I just walked away from him. So when that happened, I already knew that what really was talking to me was something that manifested to look like him, which was the skinwalker shapeshifter. And this happened during the day, right? I'm sharing my encounter with y'all. All right. Chacon, New Mexico. I drove all through those areas when I was traveling to San Diego. Uh, I passed through New Mexico, all those areas, man. Uh, I just went straight away to go visit my brother in San Diego. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes they don't like when you speak about this, so they cause interference. Of course, it could be a bad connection. Hey, brother Alex, what's let me see if I can do something here real quick. Hey, go, Alex. Add your channel on here. The school brother Alex. Put it you as a moderator, brother. You want to add the link so people can see the link to your YouTube channel. You're more than welcome, or to the link of that video. Uh, if y'all missed it, I created another short reel that just focused on the. I got a close up of the DDN. I placed it this evening, which is a close up of it, and I give it more time so you can see it better. I think I gave it like 7 to 9 seconds, so you're able to see it better. That's cool, brother. Thank you for your dad's service. There you go, Alex El Vato. That's cool, man. Yeah, I normally do my lives outside, but the mosquitoes. People are worried about the cryptids and lechusas. The mosquitoes are worse. They're like they're vampires, man. They drain your blood. I got stung big time yesterday. I'm just looking over here at the trying to figure this out real quick. Alrighty, but yes, has anybody had encounters with the skinwalkers? I used to see them all the time because I would be out at nighttime. Uh, I would walk. I would walk like 20 miles every night because it was fresh at nighttime. So from like around shoot 10:30 to like around 3 in the morning, I would do a lot of walking. I would walk a lot because at the time I had a blood clot on my left leg, and I was trying to build my leg up. So that's what I would walk late at night, and that's what I would witness them when I was walking around. The big was a big quad, and there's nothing but woods around. That's when I had encounters with the shapeshifter, skinwalkers, and dark shadow figures. It was at night because I would walk at night. I had the blood clot I had was huge. That I had to rebuild my left leg from the damage it caused. Uh, but yes, that's when I had a lot of the encounters. I've had some during the day, but at nighttime. I don't know on what Sister Ivy here still. So let's get to the Lechusa part. Joe, want to talk about more skinwalkers? Uh, okay, I was just making sure everything's okay. The Lechusas, when I was growing up, uh, this is like in the 70s. There was a lot of spiritual battles between. It was kind of like you could say uh, witches against witches, which was black magic versus black magic, in which there was portals being opened, and you could see uh, the lechuzas flying in the air, and you could see also the demonic, should I say, demons that were being summoned by these dark witches, where they will make their you could see them in the air, sometimes they'll be on top of your roof, and they will get sent to cause chaos and havoc. Uh, Time frame it was just like in the early 70s, like between well, when I seen it, I was a kid, so it's like between 70 to like 78, 79. It's when it was real hot and heavy down there in the Rio Grande Valley, which in South Texas, which is near the border, which the witches were so evil, the dark witches was so evil that they wasn't afraid to let people know what they were about. Just put it that way. There's always doing some messed up stuff. For example, they would disembowel cats, hang them by your fence, their guts sticking out. I don't know how many times I witnessed dead cats hanging from our fence. So we had to get the cat off from the fence. But we wouldn't touch it with our bare hands. We would wear gloves or something to get rid of the animal because most likely they had a maldad, a hex on them or something. But so for some reason they like killing cats, and that's all we would find dead cats that were gutted down the middle and their guts hanging out. Now, what did this cat represent? I know since we know what witches are about, right? They know they have familiars. So were the cats that were being murdered or killed? Were they the familiars of the witches, where they were just going back and forth with dark magic, in which negativity with negativity doesn't make it positive. How you doing, Tim Sorrell? I hope you're doing great. Uh, but that's what I will witness. That animals. Sometimes we'll find the heads of dead animals in the yard, just the heads. But they will leave them there. Was it the lechusas leaving them there? The only thing I knew that when I did see something that not to touch it with my bare hands, but to grab something and pick it up with something and get rid of it. Get it out of the yard. In Lords, my grandpa used to see the owl on the roof of the church. They'll fly down and dance around the fire. There will be ladies, then turn to the owl and fly back up. Yeah, that's what that they do. They they're the witches. They done sold their soul, so they have the capabilities of shape shifting. I'm just looking at my phone real quick to make sure my son is okay. He's working right now, but he's having car problems earlier. Yeah, I will see him all the time, man. close up, like real close, because they would come because they had something against me. Uh, when I was small, everybody knows the story where I went to the little picture right there. That's me when I was small, for spiritual encrypted encounters. That's me when I was small. That's when I come back. Like I said, I don't know how long I was there. All I know is that I was with a curandera, and she will heal people. She healed my brother, and she found out that it was a dark witch that had done some black magic to my brother. So she sent it back to that black witch, and I stayed there with her as her as her eyes, like spiritual eyes. Like I was with her because that's part of the deal. If she healed my brother, but I remember when they came, the the dark witches and some more in the form of the Lechusas. It was a bunch of them. We fought spiritually that night. I was only a kid, and I stood right beside her with no fear, right beside the curandera with no fear. And I was looking at them, and with no fear, because I knew Jesus Christ was with me. So I know what they're about. Uh, when I finally came back to the States, well, I wasn't with a curandera no more, but they came and targeted me because they were pissed off because when she sent the hex back to the dark witch that caused it, that dark witch died. So they had it out for her, for the curandera, and for me. So then they came to to the United States, to where I lived, on the border, and showed their presence just like they showed the presence over there in Mexico. And they were coming in numbers, causing all kinds of chaos and havoc. Could hear the demons that were with them, where they were laughing like little kids, banging on the walls, running on top of the roof, banging underneath the house because our house was on pillars. Um, till one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna face them. I was gotten older. It was happening for years. So I finally made my spiritual stance. I was like a little bit older, probably like say like 11 or 12. I was 10 or 11. I was playing little league. So I seen them on the tree, the same ones that were in Mexico. There was the same ones, and I told them to leave. They're huge. They were like, those had to be as big as they were, like almost 6 foot tall. I would throw caliche, big rocks at them, boom, but they wouldn't fly. You could hear the thump where it made contact to their bodies, but they wouldn't fly. Then my grandmother came out one day and she said something to them and they flew away. But I think it had to do also with my grandmother because, like I said, there was a lot of things happening dealing with dark witches. Anybody got any questions? Uh, it's like you could hear them like they were whispering at first, like they're whispering in there. Then it would go from whispering, the Lechusa's got the talons, and you could hear where they're scratching their claws, and then you hear them laugh like a woman. People call them harpies, right? We call them lechuzas in Spanish, but you could hear it was scratch. It was one of the noises that was aggravating because all of them were doing it at once. Like then they would whisper and then start laughing like a woman, like literally all laughing outside her home by the side of her house. When that was happening, my mom be in prayer. We had heavenly crosses by with the holy palm Sundays, the palms on each window. in the doorway, so they wouldn't be able to come in. But it was one of those things that there was a lot of things happening at once. That the sounds of children running around outside is like at 10:30, 11 at night. It just all my brothers and sisters went through it with me. Uh, they remember, but I'm not afraid of them because I know that through Jesus Christ and the Love Foundation, we can overcome them. There's people like that, the devil in the dark arts. I've seen them all, man. Witches, warlocks, voodoo, princesses. Uh, there was a voodoo princess that came for me because I guess her mother, right, voodoo queen, was doing a hex towards me. The Heavenly Father showed me this. I got up, prayed against it, against the hex that she was doing. You could see where she was cutting the head off of chickens and splattering the blood everywhere. So I prayed against that. It was a time frame of when Katrina happened, where New Orleans got flooded. When that happened, I seen the same uh, voodoo queen was up to water, and she was walking on a bridge, and she was saying, "It's your fault. It's your fault this happened. It's your fault this happened." Right? And I left it at that. It's like 2 days later, the voodoo princess came, which was probably either her daughter or somebody related to her. I was going to the mailbox in Elms Grove. She walked straight down the line where I was walking and got right in front of me looking at me. And I told her that this is what I told her. I said, "I'm sorry what happened to your grandmother or mother, whoever that was. But she wished something bad upon me, and I prayed against it. And whatever happened to her is not my fault. It's because of what she was trying to do to me." And I looked at her. I said, "You already know that the Heavenly Father protects me. I don't think you want the same fate as your grandmother or mother. So I suggest to you, if you have children or a family that you love, don't do nothing because it will backfire against you like it did her." She looked at me, just turned around and walked away, left me alone. So I've been in spiritual battles. I've run into warlocks too. Spiritually, I'm shown ahead of time that somebody's coming my way to try to do something. So whenever I do cross paths with them, I'm prepared to fight spiritually. We had that one encounter, but there was other things that were happening. That one encounter that I spoke of that I remember very clearly, but it wasn't just happening to us. It was within our town. The Llorona was spotted by a canal where the Llorona was crying, and the people, there was a commotion outside. At night, you could hear the people yelling, La Llorona, and we went out there. We walked like 3 blocks up the street. People were walking. They said that they had the Llorona trapped in a barn, that they seen her go into the barn, that they closed the doors, that the Llorona was trapped in the barn. So all the people were around the shed or the barn, right? The barn. And I said, "Okay, we're gonna open up the doors. So we're gonna catch the Llorona." So there's like all the people from the neighborhood are out there around this barn. where they said the Llorona is trapped in there. When they opened up the doors and everything, there was no Llorona. Uh, the Llorona would always be seen near a canal by Elsie Smith for the elementary. There used to be a canal there, which there's a lot of my town dealing with agriculture, and she was spotted there. She'd be spotted on the west side all the time, where she'll be literally the people be seeing her going through the block down the street down San Francisco, wailing, especially when it was raining. How you doing, Sister B? How you doing? How you doing, sis? Thank you. Welcome, True Rock. But yes, my sister remembers. I was telling them, sis, about when the Lechusas and the Brujas will come to her house on Saturdays, and that the they will gather us in a little circle, and we would start praying because they will come and we could hear them where they're hitting their talons and whispering, and they start laughing, start hearing pounding on the walls, somebody running on the roof, pounding underneath the house. We were kids, you know. So I'm thinking what they were doing that is because they wanted to install the fear factor. If you fear it, then they're going to have more control or more power because you're fearing what they're doing. Um, but yes, just sitting here with a rocking chair. There we go. Now I've seen the witches wear all black. See, the Catholic Church when it was created, you remember there used to be people would go to different countries on the crusades to spread the religion of Catholicism. So they went to Mexico, and they for them to get a lot of people to go join them. They didn't. It was like one of those churches at one point in time where people can pray what they believed in. So if somebody was a witch or a warlock, they go pray what they believe in. Somebody was into paganism, they will go worship that, in which the church will bring anybody in the church. So that's why you see some of the statues, that are there. That's for the people that worship the paganism. And then you got some that look like the Virgin Mary and stuff like that, uh, in which a lot of people that worship, they will go there and pray. Sometimes I wasn't praying for Jesus Christ. They would pray for what they believed in. If you really paid attention, like when I was growing up, in the very front row, you could see all the brujas dressed in black. But people would say, "Oh, they're just widows. That's why they're dressed in black." Widows, and they will cover their face. They'd be sitting in the front row. Uh, so that's why you catch a lot of activity in the Catholic Church, because some people that go there are not, they're living in sin, and they're doing practicing other things, uh, in which maybe they were trying to change their ways, no, asking God for forgiveness or something. But you could see unclean spirits flying in the church, like light shadow figures, dark shadow figures, where they're up in the ceiling, flying, going into people. I would notice this all the time. So I would stay away with certain people because I could see what was within them. I knew who was good and I knew who was evil. So I would stay from certain individuals because I could see right through them spiritually. I have the capability. Yes, my sister remembers the time of the Yorona too. She was there. We were, let me see, I was already in in high school. I think I was a freshman when that happened because my sister was barely born, so or might have been in junior high. I think we were in junior high. I might have been an eighth grader. I haven't really looked, brother. I was literally slept all day. I mean, I didn't wake up till 8:30 this afternoon. That's how drained I was from what I encountered out there in my investigation. That it drained a lot of my energy. I still managed to do my workout today, but my energy got drained. That and then the mosquitoes kind of drained me too uh, last night. So that's why I'm doing it indoors. I said I don't want to get stung by them mosquitoes or bit. No, stung by the mosquitoes. I'll check it out on that link that you placed on here. Uh, so where do you look it up at? On YouTube? On your channel? Alex Tabato? Daps? I've seen since we're talking about shapeshifters and brujas and all that, because they all have one thing in common. They they're into the dark arts, witchcraft and necromancy, and they make deals with demons, in which they're they're capable of manifesting to anything. I'll check it out, brother. Uh, when I get the chance. But I have seen yeah, have you ever looked up the Deer Woman? It's a shapeshifter. The Deer Woman, uh, is dealing with a. I don't know what the legend of the Deer Woman is, but she's a shapeshifter. Um, I think she was a princess at one point in time, or something like that within the natives. But something happened to her, or something. But the the Deer Woman is a shapeshifter. She goes after. You can look it up, Deer Woman, or even in the and Portuguese, she's called La Sayona. Uh, she goes after men that are being unfaithful. She's very beautiful. And if you pay, is that the guys get fixated on her beauty, they forget to look at the feet. If you look at the feet, you'll be able to see their beastly feet. Yeah, I remember I was by the front door, sis. Remember I was by the front door protecting the door, and I told mom, should I open it? And she was like, "Huerco pendejo, don't open it, don't open it." Yes, I remember. And then she went through the fence because she's like in disembodied form. She went through the link fence and it was drizzling. And we seen her. We went outside when she left the yard. She went up the street, up the hill, and then we heard like a big screeching sound, brakes hitting, a big thump. So we went up there, and there was a semi truck that was sideways on the road on the highway. They said they were trying to find out what happened. He ran into the Exxon. Said that he was driving, and a woman in white, uh, dressed in white, passed in front of him, and he didn't want to hit her, so he dodged her, and his trailer flipped. Yeah, spoken of the Dare Woman encounter, like in 2015, 2016, the encounter that it was me and my sister's son that encountered her, which is Ricky Lazay. Me and him had the encounter with her because he was with me. Uh, the the creek had rose and it flooded the mobile homes that were further down. They went underwater. The mobile homes had gone underwater. The vehicles went underwater. So my friend brother Dave, his he lost his vehicle in his home, right? Because it was the water resided, but it was a lot of damage. So he told me if I could look out for his property. So sure. And we were outside. Then as we were outside, we seen this big old silhouette, dark silhouette pass by his vehicle. And we're looking at it. So you see that? I said, yeah. And I said, let's go check it out. Maybe somebody's trying to break into his vehicle or home, you know. So we ran down the street. We look at the vehicle. The vehicle was secured. We look at his house. Went up to the door. The door was locked. So we was trying to figure out. Was trying to figure out what was going on, right? The mobile homes, the back of them, they're like 10 feet, not even 10 feet, like 8 feet away. There was two mobile homes that were back to back, which was dark in the middle. So as I was going through the darkness to go around the mobile home, I just seen a face come out of the darkness towards me like that. And I stood back, and it was her. It was that woman. She was very beautiful. Her shirt was like a deer print shirt. She had a smile, and she asked me, "Can you give me a ride?" And I was like, "What are you doing here? Are you looking for Brother Dave?" And then she asked me again, "Can you give me a ride?" And I said, "I don't even have a vehicle to give you a ride in." And she looked at my nephew, smiling at him, and she asked him, "Can you give me a ride?" And Ricky was like, "Lady, I don't even know who you are. I wouldn't give you a ride. I don't know who you are." So she just didn't say nothing no more and just went up the street. She started walking up the street. Then when she was walking up the street, we could see her right leg. It was just moving real fast, like it was twitching, but it was like where it was shape shifting. It was moving real fast, and you could see that one of the legs looked like a woman, but the other leg looked like of a deer, where he hadn't taken full manifestation of the woman. So she was moving real fast. We ran after her. She was moving super fast. That by the time we got up the street towards the entrance of the park, she was already in the highway. She was moving very fast. Not she wasn't moving like a regular, and she was just like walking, but super fast. Uh, that's the encounter I had of the deer woman, which is a shapeshifter. You know, it could have been a shapeshifter that manifested to look like a woman. You know, there is some videos that I see that are from Mexico, where you could literally tell that the videos are fake. That is people that are dressed up to look like witches and stuff like that. Um, and which I don't watch them because you could tell they're fake as hell. Uh, they're staged. There's a lot of videos that are staged. Some of these people they're from Mexico and they make the sound effects and all that. You know, you could literally tell that it's set up. Uh, but you should check out the show reel that I created today. Let me see if I could do something here. The show reel that I got on that I created here on YouTube. It's a closer look at the manifestation when he manifested it during the day, how he was charging at me. I believe that's why I was some of my energy was drained yesterday, but I'm doing better today. Man, we've seen all kinds of things. Um, People call Bigfoots. I've seen them as we call them dark bultos, dark shadows. Like bultos, it means something big, like a big bulto, which they were pretty big. Uh, those are actually demons, and they have red eyes. It's I seen something happen to my grandfather when I was growing up. We had two chicken coops, and we heard taking out the eggs out of one of the chicken coops. The other chicken coops was like a little log cabin, and it was raining. He told me stand underneath the blackberry tree, and he grabbed a stick because he heard the chickens were clucking, and he said that there was a possum in there. So he told me he was already old. He was up there in age, like in his late 70s, and he said, I'll be right back. I'm gonna scare the possum away." But he was talking to me in Spanish, so he went in there, went into the cabin, the chicken coop. Then after a while, you could start hearing him screaming real loud, like he's in pain, like something's attacking him. So I go in there, grab a little stick from the ground. I said, I'm gonna go protect my grandpa from the possum, from tacuache. That's what we call it, tacuache in Spanish. So I go to the entrance of the chicken coop and I'm looking for the possum. And what I witness is this: I witnessed my grandfather being elevated in the air. He's like probably like his feet are not touching the ground. He's elevated up in the air. His shirt is already ripped off of him. His pants are ripped off of him. And then I seen and then I'm looking. You know, I was young, probably like 5 years old, and I'm looking, and I see it. People want to call it a Bigfoot. It's tall, probably like 8, 9 foot tall. It's got red eyes. It's looking at me and I'm looking at it. Eye contact. It scratches or have the reason my grandfather was screaming because there was scratches appearing in his body and nothing was touching him. Where he was cut pretty badly. He was bleeding everywhere, all over his body. He drops my grandfather and he lunges at me. The big, he lunges at me and is coming at me in this black disembodied form. I call him the DDN, disembodied demonic Nephilim. He's lunging at me and he's coming straight towards me. And I could feel the presence of heavenly angels behind me. And he does a detour and breaks the window, makes a little hole in the window, and he goes out the hole. The disembodied form of it goes out the hole. Next thing you know, I hear my grandmother, my uncles trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm telling them the Punto Negro, dark shadow, you know. They go in there and see my grandfather. He's all cut up. They're like, what happened? And he says, Tacuache. The Tacuache did that, but he just put his head down because he knows there was something else that attacked him. So this is my son coming from work. So they took him to the hospital. He had to get stitches. He was badly cut all over his body. He had to get stitches from those cuts. But I never forget that day. So that's why I created this group, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, because I witnessed how they manifest, how they look, how they can be, I should have say, how they can deceive people, making them think that they're real of some kind of sort. Whether they manifest to look like a lycanthrope or a Bigfoot or whatever they manifest to, I'm just letting you know. Put it to the test. How do you put it to the test? You're not going to shoot something that's in disembodied form. The way you put it to the test is you type and rebuke it through Jesus Christ's name. And when it disappears, it smells like sulfur or there's a pestilent smell, then you're going to know that what you're dealing with is something demonic. That's how you put it to the spiritual test. Yeah, I've seen them. When my grandfather got sick after that, real bad, where he was bleeding blood, it was a spiritual attack. And he passed away after that, man. I remember him being in the hospital, and we were out there because he was fixing to die. And I seen those punto negros, what I seen in the what I seen in the chicken coop. They entered the hospital. I seen them. It was like three of them, and then they exit out the hospital. But then I already knew that my grandfather was gone. Uh, but yes, spiritual battles, man. Yes, my grandfather, he was always being tested. These demons, they came after him, man. They attacked him. Uh, and later on throughout my life, as I grew, I ran into a demon where I was in the army, and I was at Fort Irwin, California, training in a National Training Center, NTC, what we call it in the army. Uh, I was doing the Dust Bowl detail, where we're in charge of the Dust Bowl, and I was working with a Red Cross lady, and something happened to me, because I had an injury where I hit my head in the army, and they had diagnosed me with epilepsy. So they sent me out there, which I should have been out there. When I was out there, I had an episode happen to me where somebody found me on the ground. So they sent me to the medics, in a little tent. So I'm there, and they said that the chaplain of Fort Hood was coming to visit me, where he's non-denominational, right? Then they said the chaplain of Fort Hood was there. This man entered. He walked straight to me. He's like, "You're the guy that had the seizure?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Let me come talk to you over here with me." And he's got a smile on his face. And he's smiling. He looks at me, and the first thing he asked me is, "Do you believe in demonic possession?" And I was like, "I've heard of things like that." And then he looked at me, and he gave me another smile. And he said, "Has your grandfather ever been attacked or possessed demonically?" And he gave me a smile. I looked at him, and he said, "Let's pray." And I'm like, how does he know about my grandfather, right? So we start praying. He starts saying something in a different language that I don't understand. And I start praying the Our Father. So I'm praying the deliverance prayer. He wants to let go of his hand on my hands. And then he breaks off free and he runs out of the tent. And I was like, man, that was a uh, weird chaplain. Why? It's like, to me, it was weird how everything happened. So I went to go sit down in the tent, and I was like, man, I didn't even pray or nothing, because he took off running. Then, as I'm sitting down, the the tent opens up, and says, the chaplain of Fort Hood is here. And I look at the guy, he's got the insignia, like the other person had the insignia. And I said, the chaplain of Fort Hood just finished visiting me. He said, no, I'm the chaplain of Fort Hood. So you could say that was a spiritual experience, a one-on-one thing, where the demon surfaced up. They knew about my grandfather, but he was in the manifestation of a chaplain. He was mocking me. He was making fun of me, basically saying what happened to me is because they caused that. So I'm just sharing the story with you. Thank you, Brother Al. True Rock. Yeah, they try to enter a lot of those shadow demons, shadow figures, whatever you want to call them. What I know is where we used to live in Elms Grove. After I did the show, This Woods Season 3, Episode 2, This Woods are Haunted, uh, something is out there with my sister. There was this man that told me that that land where we lived, and the airport, and the golf course, and a big section of the land was Indian native burial ground. That's the reason it's sold very cheap, and that's why there's so much activity there. Yeah, there's some people out there that they don't want to believe in Jesus Christ, but they want to believe in other things. You know, uh, that's what they do. A lot of false prophets, false churches, false priests. It's happening right now, trying to misguide God's children. If you remember in the Bible, there was churches like that. There were uh, falsifying themselves, leading people astray. I think how many was it that died in that church? It was a church they were worshiping. I think there was like 12,000 or I don't know how many, but it was a lot of people that the earth opened up and took the church and the people because it was one of evil church. It's in the Bible. You can Google it and Google the when the ground opened up or and took the the church that were it sucked up a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of and if you notice, a lot of them they're about the tithe, about money. That's all they want. I mean, they do read scripture out of the Bible and stuff like that, but reading scripture and doing the works of the Heavenly Father are two different things. You know, you can read the Bible, but it's doing it's fighting spiritually. You know, doing helping out people spiritually, having a relationship with Jesus Christ. You don't have to have a relationship with any minister. You don't have to go through no person to get to Jesus Christ. Like like those preachers, they don't want you to. They're trying to put themselves out there in a high pedestal, like you have to go through them to get Jesus Christ, and that's a lie. We all have a direct connection to Jesus Christ. Yeah. So you don't have to go through anybody to get to Jesus Christ, to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Just remember that. And if you ever think you stand alone, no, He's with you. Jesus Christ is with you. Even when there might be nobody around you with you, He is with you. Just call upon Him. He'll show His presence to you spiritually. If you pray to Him in true faith and believe in Him, He'll show you His presence. He'll guide you. Yeah, they all those pastors you're mentioning is but the dinero, the tithe. That's a guy that hits a people and they fall back. That's I mean I've seen how people that are demonized how they fall back. They making it seem that the Holy Spirit is entering them and they're falling back because the Holy Spirit is entering them. But you know they're about the tithe. They're about the money. That's what you call the false prophets that it's written in the Bible. There's going to be false preachers. They're going to come. They're going to know every word that's written in the book, but the works is not truly of doing the works of the Heavenly Father. I got a question for y'all. When have you ever seen them make a documentary or a recording where they're going out there in the public, just helping out complete strangers, helping out the poor, the homeless, uh, helping out real people that are being spiritually bonded by unclean forces? You don't see that. They just do their works within their church. Yeah, all of these guys, I know who they are. It's kind of like put your hand, put your hand on the screen. I said, put your hand on the screen. I think I remember that guy. Put your hand on the screen of the TV. and they start praying something, uh, if he's being demonically used, and you pressing putting your hand on the screen, and they can transfer something that way to you. Did you know that you can do that? But uh, I see their videos. Well, I don't really pay attention to them. I don't follow that. I just do my works. I know a guy that has a picture with Benny Hinn, and he puts him up there in a high pedestal, but he's just a person. The one that we should held up high in a high pedestal is Jesus Christ. Yeah, all you got to do, third disciple, is pray against them. Uh, Protect your home. Place some heavenly crosses on your doors on the doors and windows, so they won't be able to enter. And if you see them, just say, I take authority over you in Jesus Christ's name. I tie bind and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. You're not welcome here, and they'll flee. They'll leave. It's that simple. Can't be afraid of ungiven powers. That's why they manifest like that, to try to for the fear factor. I've seen some that look like they have skulls. I've seen some that look like it's a woman with rips in her face that look like lava, like they're coming from hell, with yellow fiery eyes. Wearing the hoods during the day, and I just rebuke them in Jesus Christ's name. Pray against them. Yeah, I've seen a lot of things, brother and sisters. I was trying to focus on the Lechusas today. We're talking about all kinds of topics. I guess I'm reading the comments, in which that's good. Um, I would say to y'all is this, you know, to to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, know Him, and He'll guide you spiritually. That's all I can say. There's people, there's certain churches that it's about the money. That in order for the a member to become a member, they have to give like 60% of their paycheck to the church. So some of these people work two jobs, right, to make ends meet, because they're giving like 60% to their church from each paycheck. And that's just crazy, man. People have to survive, have to live. And you got the ones like Jim Jones that want people to drink the Kool-Aid. You know what happened with that story, right? How you doing, brother Alex? Hope you're doing good tonight. Let me say something real quick here. Uh, yeah, yeah. I've been around the world, man. I was in Germany. Was my first duty station in the military, uh, and I just seen a lot of things over there. I don't know. encounter I had with, I guess it was the local witch. They call her the Strawberry Fest Witch, because the Strawberry Fest is when they make their own beer, and they have a big party where they have tents set up and people are just having fun and drinking beer. Uh, it was around that time frame where I was at a bar and I was talking to this girl around my age, and we're talking all night. I was drinking my beer. Then when they closed, we started walking together. She kind of looked like a model, which and she was very pretty. I was walking with her, and she told me that I could stay at her house because she knew that the village was still far away. And she said, "You could sleep on my couch." I said, "Okay." Um, so it was only two rooms. It was like an apartment. We walked in the room. It was the kitchen, and there was a sofa there, and the bedroom was the other room. So I laid on the couch. She went into the room, and not even like 5 minutes, she she tells me that I could go lay down in the room. But when I seen her, she was naked. Like I guess over there the customs, it's so that's the way they are in that country. Nudity is not a big deal. So I went over there, lay down in the bed with her with my clothes on, uh, and I fell asleep because I had been drinking. The beer in Germany is pretty strong, and I just went to sleep. You know, uh, she was laying down beside me, naked. I didn't think nothing of it. I wasn't thinking, how's the saying go, with the wrong head. Uh, so I went to sleep. When I woke up and she wasn't laying beside me. And I started looking and I could hear like a thump. As I looked by the doorway, there was a broken, I guess she had broken the mirror that was there. And she was slamming the piece of glass on the ground. I could see blood coming off her hand where her floor was made out of wood and it was just slamming it hard. And when I looked, it wasn't that girl. It was an old lady. And she had white hair. Her eyes were back white and foam was coming out of her mouth. Like foam. She was hitting that real hard. And I was like, what the hell? And she was naked. So I got up very slowly. I already had my clothes on and my shoes on. I went right around her and she was just slamming. When I was going around her, she slammed and put the knife on the ground. Like I moved around her real slowly, walked beside her, and I started unlocking she had like seven locks and bolted like on that door, like seven locks. I'm looking like this and trying to unlock everything and looking, make sure she don't charge at me with a piece of glass from the broken mirror. And I'm looking, I opened the door and I didn't even close the door. I just take off. I'm running. I was 19 and I would run 20 miles a day. I was flying, man. I was flying faster than O.J. Simpson. Uh, I was flying, man. I was flying because I was, you could say, scared of what I witnessed. And I'm running full speed, man. Looking back, make sure. Now I was having an image that she's going to be coming at me with a knife, floating in the air, like a witch, just floating there, coming after me. It was cold. I'm running. I passed the main gate. I didn't even go through the main gate. I ran. I jumped over the fence. The fence was like 12 foot, 14 foot tall. That's how freaked out I was that I jumped over that sucker, man, like a freaking cat, and I ran to the billets, went to my room, and I was like, went to sleep. I was like freaked out what I witnessed. Then one day I was out there, and my friends were like, "Hey, I want to show you the statue of the witch from this area. You know, they call her the the Strawberry Fest witch." I looked at the statue that they had there of the witch. It was the same female, the old lady that I seen at that apartment. The same lady. And I think I might have ran into that when she was in the form of the young woman. The thing we are talking at the bar was about this because she said she was a gypsy, right? And she told me, "Do you know that werewolves are real? They really do exist. So the mark of the beast, they do exist. We deal with them all the time." She was a gypsy. What gypsy is a witch. Uh, well, I seen how what kind of a witch she was because she had the ability to look from an old lady to a young woman, in which with witchcraft and necromancy, that's kind of like a form of shapeshifting. Yeah, man. I was 19 years old when that happened to me, and I'm glad. I guess it was mad. I think I know why she was mad that I didn't fall into the temptation of the the beautiful woman, naked woman that was sitting beside me. I think that's what pissed her off that that she couldn't get me in that nature. That's what she broke the mirror and was pissed off. She couldn't seduce me that way because I said I'm a spiritual warrior. I mean, I ran that day. I'm not gonna lie, but who wouldn't? This is like late at night. I was 19, but I've grown spiritually now. I've grown and I learned from all of my experiences. I do not know what she was. All I know is she was a gypsy, and she told me that about the lycanthrope. That they're real. But the question is this, because she was talking to me as a young woman, my age. She turned to an old lady. So is the lycanthrope or werewolf a shapeshifter like a witch or a warlock, right? Because they have the ability to work a deal with the demons, that they have the ability, the mark of the beast to shapeshift that way. That's what I'm assuming. Buenos dias, dang it, Nancy. How are you doing? ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, I had another incident that I had several incidents happen to me in Germany, man. That when I was 19, that kind of freaked me out. Um, there was another incident I had where there was this bar called Cheers, right? Uh, I was gonna go drink some beers. I open up the door, smoke comes out from all the people that are smoking cigarettes. I'm like, man, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to the village, save my money, buy me a calzone pizza. I close the door, and when I turn around, there's somebody standing behind me. It was kind of cold that day. They have an umbrella, a long coat, and a hat. Uh, he looks at me. The first thing he says to me, and he's talking with an accent from Germany. He says to me, I know who you are." And I'm looking at him. I said, "Sir, I've never met you before." And he's got the accent from Germany, or some kind of accent. And he said, "I know who your grandfather and grandmother are." And I'm like, "Who are they?" He said their names, like literally said their names, their full names, with middle name. And I said, "Sir," I said, "Okay, where do I live? Where do I come from?" He said, "You're from the United States. You come from this town." He said the name of my town. I was like, "Whoa, how does he know the name of my town?" Then he says, "I know your parents and your brothers and sisters." And I said, "What's their names?" He said their names, every single one of them. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. So I just didn't feel something right. And I said, "You know what?" I just looked at him, and I said, "You have a good night." Walked away. Walked away from him because I felt that something wasn't right, and I just didn't feel right. And I walked away from him. It's like 2 weeks later. Uh, I stayed away from the bar because of what happened. Like I was trying to figure out how did this person that belongs from a different country knows everything about me, everything of my grandfather, everybody. Uh, I thought it was maybe something demonic because it was nighttime. Uh, or maybe another thing I could have thought was maybe an angel, right? So I go to the bar. This time I go and drink me a couple of beers and I'm drinking. So I looked at the clock and I said, "You know what? I'm going to leave early. It's like 1 o'clock." I get out and I'm standing outside the front door. Uh, in front of that bar, there's a park. And in the park, I see a, a, a woman like like in lingerie walking through the park. She's barefooted. She's walking straight towards me, and she stands right in front of me. And she's like a little bit pale, but you could see right through the lingerie. She looks at me, and this is what she asked me. She says, "I want you to come with me to where I live." And she points up to her room where there's a lantern on. Well, you can see the lamp on in the room. So I want you to spend the night with me. That's what she tells me. And I just feel something weird about her because she looks pale, like like she's, I don't know, missing blood or something, like pale. I said, "Man," I said, "I don't know who you are, but there is a lot of other GIs there. Do you want somebody to go with you? You can get a GI or something." And she's like, "No, I want you to come with me." But I didn't. I walked away. Well, what I thought about that, all this, the way, okay, with the guy with the hat, the accent that he had. Then I seen this female in the white lingerie, barefooted, and it's cold as hell outside. The only thing I could think of, another legend, right, that people know about, that I could think of, that it could have been, I'll say it, the Nosferatu, that it could have been vampires. Uh, the guy with the umbrella, I believe, could have been a Nosferatu. That woman that was in the lingerie, see-through lingerie, barefooted, walking in the cold. It was cold. I believe they were Nosferatu, vampires. That's what I believe there were. But just my opinion. But I had my faith in Jesus Christ. What was weird is that they knew everything about me. What that guy knew was everything about me. And he's talking to me in a different language. different language. Let me see, read some of this comments here. Yes, I was in Germany. I was on there for about a year because I went to Operations Desert Storm. I came back after the war. They sent me home for about 4 or 5 months, and then went back and they deactivated our unit and they sent me back to the States. But that's what I think, that it was a Nosferatu. I remember seeing something like that, like when I was walking one evening in the distance, I could see this man following me. But this man was dressed all in black, and he had a little top hat, and he had a cane, and I could see him, and it's like I felt something not right, you know. Oh, Gore, cheers where everybody knows your name. Hey, I guess they knew my name there. That cheers. That was the name of the bar. I would go to two bars there in Erlangen, Germany. It was called Cheers, and I would go to one called B15. You know, uh, I think that there is those, should I say, the Nosferatu there, but also I believe that there is a clan of lycanthrope or werewolf that live in that area. I'm gonna tell you why. I was leaving B15. I was outside of the club, and I seen a lot of people going down this basement, like steps that were going downwards. So I said, well, let me follow to see where they're going, you know. So I start following down, and there's a bar underneath there, you know. It's kind of dark, looks like a cavern, and I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Next thing you know, this big guy that's like 6'9", huge, closes the steel door, puts a big chain on it with a big old padlock. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, it's kind of like the times of back in the day. You know, like it's a big steel gate, big old padlock. So I'm sitting there in the booth, and there's couples everywhere, right? Next thing you know, the couples start going with each other, like they're swapping couples, right? I said, man, I'm in a place where it's kind of like a swingers place or something, you know. So I'm stuck in there, but I still have a weird feeling, you know, because the way they're kissing, they're not kissing normal. They're acting kind of like animalistic. And I told the big guy, I said, hey, I need to go because I got CQ tomorrow, and you don't want to open the door. So it's like, yeah, I gotta go. And I could see how everybody's acting weird, like I don't know, like they're gonna manifest it to something, you know, the way they're acting, like animalistic. So he just looks, he unlocks it real quick and lets me out. Uh, I didn't stay. I didn't want to stay to find out if there was going to be some kind of transformation of some sort. But that guy let me out. No, it could have been just swingers, but I don't think so because the way they were acting like animalistic, like animals. You're welcome, Nancy. Yeah, the guy let me out. You know, I was ready to fight him to get the keys. And even though he was big, I was ready to fight him because I could sense, man, like I feel it that something was gonna happen, man. If I would have stayed there and I was by myself and everybody was together, they were already swapping. Uh, so I'm glad that I got the hell out of there. I'll be honest with you. The steel gate looked freaked out, dude. The way it had like some designs on it, the padlock was huge. I mean, that dude on the gate was massive, dude. Like, where was it? He was big, like 6'9", 7 foot, huge. But he let me out. Thank God he let me out. Only God knows how many weird places are like that, or how many places like that are throughout Germany. You know, it was kind of like a lair or some sort. Because it was underground, like a lair, like a cave, cavern. I mean, there was a bar, but it's like the people, they're acting weird, man. Like they're fixing to turn into something. Like, I mean, you're there with their couples, and then start swapping, and then start acting weird, like animalistic. They're like freaking crawling, biting each other and stuff. Like literally biting each other. They're acting crazy, like biting. Like what the? I was like, man, I left. I'm glad he let me out, man. After that, and that bar was the place was right by B-15s. I would go to B-15s, but I wouldn't go there. It's like hell no. Yeah, I've experienced some weird things there in Germany. It's kind of like I know there's KGB and stuff like that, or that they might have, uh, but I was just a private. I mean, who's interested in a private? I'm just the lowest rank possible. It's not like I'm a high rank person that had any kind of how should I say, information to give them, but they sure knew who the hell I was. Makes me wonder, in my hometown, when because the German war was happening, they were getting prisoners from over there as POW, and they were sending them. We had a camp called Labor Camp, and where I lived when I was growing up, and in that camp, at one point in time, to my understanding, they had prisoners there. And it was called Labor Camp. So it makes me wonder that if, because my grandmother, grandfather, they were from the. My grandmother was from 1915. My grandfather was from the 1800s. Upper. I don't know what year he was born in the 1800s, but I wonder if maybe they knew that the Nosferatu, or maybe they knew, yeah, I would say that maybe one of the Nosferatus was there in the labor camp. When you think about the Hat Man, or the one that's dressed in black with the red eyes, I wonder if he's some kind of vampire, like the Nosferatu, right? Or Hellhound, servant from hell. But it was called labor camp, where they had prisoners at one point in time from from the war. It makes you wonder too. What if they did have prisoners there that were Nosferatu, or if there were Lycanthrope, and they escaped down in the Rio Grande Valley, and maybe that's why there's activity of werewolves, Lycanthrope, what people call Dogman, or there's activity of dark, this Hat Man that people see that's dressed a certain way. What if that is a Nosferatu, of some sort? Uh, I think so. Yes, a third disciple. It was in my backyard. It was looking at me, and it was going up and down. The stare. You could see the glowing eyes. I believe it was a skinwalker. But then, as it was looking up and down, it was on top of the shed of my neighbor's house. It was looking at me, and I was recording it. It was going up and down. I think the recording is here on on I might have the recording here. I'm not sure. And I was recording it, and then as it was going up and down, he just went straight up in the air. Yeah, I think it was a possible shapeshifter skinwalker, because that's what they do. What people don't understand is it can manifest from one thing to another within a blink of an eye. I've seen a shapeshifter skinwalker. They're called different names, in different cultures. I know in Spanish they call it Nagual, 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 which is a shapeshifter skinwalker. Uh, and they're called different. I don't know if anybody's seen the fight of Canelo versus was it Alvarez? Oh, no, Munguia. Uh, Before the fight, they showed a video for Canelo comes from where they're dancing around a fire, and you could see like they're in their native culture. You could see one wearing the fur over his head. That would be considered a nagual, which is a form like a shapeshifter, and that's where Canelo comes from. Maybe if I download it one day, the video, I'll take the picture of how they're dancing around the flame, and they got in their native garments, but one is dressed like a nagual, which is a shapeshifter. But yes, they be they be following me around, man. I'm not gonna lie. I moved from Elms Grove. I mean, yeah, to Temple. Uh, I was living in a apartment complex on the second floor. I could hear somebody by the door, and I go look in the to the peephole, and I see something big moving real fast down the stairs. I go open the door, but I don't see nobody there. Next thing you know, the following day when I open the door, it smells like urine, like something marked the door with urine. The same thing that would happen in Elms Grove. Something will go urinate on the doors, on the sliding door, on my vehicle. It's like it's marking its territory, right? So it happened a couple of times there where my vehicle, I'm living in a whole different town, like something urinated. The same thing though happened in Elms Grove. So I moved from there to another house. So I'm there in the house for about, what, 3 months. I lived there. I was there for about 3 months. I was taking the dogs outside. My German Shepherd were small. They were puppies. I was taking them outside when I opened the back door to my backyard. And I'm living in the city. They're going outside. You can hear something make a loud growl from the top of the tree. the, my German Shepherds went right back inside the house. I closed the door and I locked it up. And I was trying to figure out what the hell was that. I'm in the city. I got neighbors, right? So then I went to the front door, opened it up to walk around the side to see if I see anything. I had a, it was like a plant. It's got flowers. It's probably like 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall. Well, when I went around there, I could see the eyes looking at me, and the eyes were taller than that plant. And I recognized the eye glow shine. It's the same eye glow shine that I witnessed in Elms Grove. So I'll go into prayer. I start talking by the Rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Next thing you know, it's gone. So I said, okay, uh, let's move. Let's move to another location. So I moved where I'm at now, And that's why I recorded the one that disciple is talking about, where it's going up and down. It's like it doesn't matter where I go, uh, they always surface up. Kind of like, to me, they have to identify themselves, even though they might be shapeshifters or skinwalkers. Spiritually, demons have to identify themselves to us through spiritual law. If they're in a person, they're going to say something to you that only you know, just like they did with Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ was going to send them back where they come from, but he sent them to the herd of pigs and to the swine. Um, but yeah, that's the way it is. It's always been like this for me. I mean, you've heard some of the stories that I told you when I was overseas. So you could say it's been my life like this. I've always encountered this it's beings from the other side of the balance that exist. It just it has to do with what they believe in, or what they're worshiping. I believe that they deal with the witchcraft and necromancy. Their souls are already sold. That's why they have the ability to shapeshift. Yeah, hit them like. Appreciate it for the thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. And goes by fast when you're talking, right? It's already almost 2 hours. Um, so yeah, everywhere I go, it doesn't matter. Like I try to work with the cryptic community people. No, I've trained in the woods. I've trained in all terrain in the military, daytime and nighttime. The woods. I've been in the ice, snow. I've trained in the desert, so I know what's out there because I have the gift of discernment. And through the spiritual goodness, I can see, but I've always been able to see. So everywhere I've gone, I've seen what's in the area because they show themselves to me through spiritual law. The gen, the gen. When I was out there in combat, they showed themselves to me through spiritual law to let me know that that's their area, and so I can be ready to fight spiritually against them. And I seen how they attacked the enemy I was facing because I played Jesus Christ first for everything I do. In combat, I seen the gen. They're vicious, man. What I mean by vicious is they have the ability to possess. I've seen them enter people in disembodied form. To me, the degen is the same thing as the DDN of what I witnessed, what happened to my grandfather. Uh, they entered the body, they're demonic. They entered the body of a soldier that was given up with a white flag. The soldier's demeanor changes, where he's possessed the body. He drops the flag and he's got a smile on his face because he's possessing that vessel. Then he picks up the weapon from the ground and points. Next thing you know, the person is gone because we weren't caught in the middle of combat. The body drops, the degen jumps out and jumps to the next person that's got the white flag. They're surrendering. He drops a white flag, picks up a weapon, and boom, the same thing happens to him. And it's just from person to person to person, and everybody's dying because the degen is causing that. This is what I witnessed in combat. In the front lines of, I was in the battle of Medina Ridge. Look it up. It was the biggest tank battle out there. I was in the front lines. So when I was seeing the degen, I started going into prayer because I had to protect my crew for it not to try to jump into them. One of them came out of the ground because they had underground bunkers. One came out of the ground like a moving like a snake. It's like there's sand, and they come out of the sand. He's standing up, and he looks towards the tank because we're rolling, going like 5, 6 miles an hour because of the sand. And he's got like a red glare in his eye. When I'm talking about the shapeshifter, he has a glare in his eye, and he jumps like, man, I gotta say, like 15 feet. Had to be 15 feet, man. He literally jumped from the standing straight up. He jumped, came flying in the air, and landed on my front slope. And he's got a smile on his face because it's the degen that's within him, within that soldier. He's got the body possessed. And he looks down. I'm in the driver hatch, and he's looking down. He's smiling, and I could see the yellow glowing eyes. Then he looks up. He's got an AK-47, and I know that it's the degen in it because of the glowing eyes. So as he's starting to point the AK-47 to shoot at my crew, which is my loader and my DC. I have my 9 mil right here. I pull it out. It was already on fire. I open up the hatch, and when I opened up the hatch, bullets were flying because there was other people shooting. So bullets were ricocheting everywhere. And when he looked down, boom, one shot, one kill, right there. He fell over. I had to kill the vessel because the degen was trying to take out my people. So once it destroyed the vessel, then the degen had to go somewhere else. Uh, it's like after that, I closed my hatch up and we kept on going forward. They can possess anything living. The degen. That's if you think about it, the degen is kind of like the somebody demonic Nephilim. Uh, they don't have a body because they're in spirit form. So that's what they do. They can shapeshift. They can possess somebody that might have a spiritual opening. That's what they do. It's like when we did the ammo count. We had to report every round that we used after the war, and I reported that I used one bullet from a 9 mil. My platoon sergeant didn't believe me, and they were trying to give me an Article 15 that said that I lost my bullet. I said no. I said I used my bullet. I said I had to open my hatch. I told them what I witnessed, what I seen, and that I killed. I had to kill the person who was on top of the tank. I told him where I shot him right in the forehead. So you don't believe me? Go down the tank, go down the trail that we traveled. You're gonna find there's a body right in between the tracks where he landed. And when they went over there, they found it. They found that the person with the bullet right in between the forehead, and they left me alone. They were just looking at me like, "Whoa!" He literally opened up his hatch and took out somebody. They were like looking at me like they were freaked out, because I had no reason to lie. Just like I have no reason to lie to the stories that I say. They're true events. But that's nothing. With my tank, I did a lot of damage where people were. I was running over those underground bunkers with a tank, and there's people dying. That's 65 tons. 65 tons were going through those bunkers. So I was going from hole to hole, running over whatever was inside there to protect my crew. And at the same time, uh, my gunner was destroying targets also. So yes, that was a female that told me that Degen has tattoos. Like I said, I don't know. I've never heard about no Degen like what you're talking about. I said, lady, I was out there in the front lines and I seen what the Degen could do, and it sure as hell didn't have no tattoos. What I witnessed, he had the ability to. But maybe the person that she said she met somebody that was the Degen that had tattoos. I said, well, maybe the Degen wasn't possessing a person that had tattoos. Maybe she's seen Aladdin too much. What category would the men fall black into? Uh, I would say more like well, we had an experience, I believe, with the men in black when I was in the military. Uh, we found something happened to our tank, to one of the skirts, and we seen what was within the skirt. Uh, the people that came, they made us on a piece of paper. They confiscated the skirt or the part of the tank, and they told us if you ever say anything about this to anybody, we're coming for you. So I felt that they were part of what you call the men in black, but I wasn't afraid of them because I seen it as a threat. No, I'm in the army doing my job. It's just something happened. We witnessed something, and I said, "Well, shit! If you come, you better be ready to die, because I'll take you out. I don't care if you're part of the government working with men in black intelligence or whatever. I'm a spiritual warrior." So I just laughed at the guy. But that's what he said. That we said anything to anybody. I haven't said nothing what I witnessed till this day. But the only thing I can tell you is this: what I witnessed. I'm not going to say what I witnessed, but I just can tell you this: is there is advanced technology. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, but that's what there was this lady that tried to tell me I was in a podcast, and she tried to tell me that's the genie she met, that she knows what genies were, that they have tattoos. And man, come on. So she was trying to put me in a spot, when I was sharing my story of what I witnessed of the Gen. And she's like, not all genies are bad. I said, man, come on. She said, not all genies are bad. It's like saying not all demons are bad, right? Not all Bigfoots are bad, which are demons. Not all dogmen are bad, which are demons. Not all aliens are bad, which are demons. You know, I'm just speaking the truth about it. People can name them whatever, uh, but they're all demonic of nature. Everybody keeps something, a title, a name. They'll change the name. Some people call it Bigfoot a booga. The ones that want to keep them realistic or They're flesh beings, but I'm just here the bearer of bad news because of being the spiritual aspect here in spiritually cryptic encounters. They are demonic of nature. Put it to the test. If you do have a relationship with Jesus Christ, maintaining love foundation, you're forgiven, and you don't dwell in hatred, hatred, anger, or vengeance because you're forgiven and you're blessed with the spiritual gifts of discernment. Put it to the test. When you see something, whether it's a lechusa, whether it's a dog man, a Bigfoot, a shadow figure, uh, a dare woman, whatever, say I type on a rebuke in Jesus Christ's name and see what happens. They, they're going to flee. They're going to leave. But sometimes when you go through a situation, sometimes you're going to react that way. You have to train yourself. Like, say, for example, type on a rebuke in Jesus Christ's name every time you get a chance. So when you do run into an occasion that you have to fight spiritually, it's going to be first in nature. That's how you train. You have to when you say I love you, you have to train yourself to have the love foundation because the unseen enemy is going to come to you even through people to see if they can break your foundation, which is your love foundation, because they're always trying to enter, just like the Degen, the DDN, the Legion, or anything that's demonic in nature. That's how they target all these beastly creatures that the manifestations that they take. They do it for the fear factor because you get scared. That's a spiritual opening. You start believing in it. That's a spiritual opening. That's how they attack. I believe the guys that were surrendering were not with the white flags. The spiritual opening was fear, the fear of dying. So what entered them? The djinn. But I hope y'all have had a great evening here tonight on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I'm glad I figured out what's wrong with my computer. Uh, it's 3:15 here. Let me see something real quick. Maybe I'll continue a little bit more. Anybody got any questions for me, or you uh, you're going through something, or you want to talk about a certain topic? Let me know here in the comments. And thank you for tuning in with the Night Owls here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I want to say thank you to all those that tune in. I try to go live every evening. See the picture of me when I was a kid right there on my logo. If you see my hair, it looks messed up. Uh, it's where I have you can see I'm here. I have the scratches. The Lechusa that scratched me when I was a kid, or something scratched me. It goes down to my eyebrow. I have two lines there. I was showing it the other day. But right there on my little picture, you can see where I was scratched already there because where it scratched me, I lost hair. So my hair looks kind of freaked out, but I had lost hair where I got scratched. 19 likes. Sure. Heavenly Father, at this time, I'd like to pray for Brother Alex. I know he's going through a lot. Um, want you to send your heavenly angels to protect him, your angels of healing. If there's any unclean spirits or anything negative around them, we take an authority over you in Jesus Christ's name. We tie, bind, and rebuke you. Leave them alone. It's a prayer in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. But yes, brothers and sisters, uh, and the thing, when you get older, the only thing you got is your experiences and your memories of what you've been through. And thank God that whether something happens to me later on, you know, or get older, at least I make these videos to leave something behind to whoever views spiritual encrypted encounters that is going to help them and guide them spiritually. That's why I do these videos, because I'm doing the Heavenly Father's works. That's why I do this, to help out as many people as possible. And to all the regulars that show up here, man, I really appreciate y'all. Brother Alex, Brother Al, man, y'all been here all night. And I see there's, I think, 10 viewers, but I know all throughout the night, people, so a lot of people watch the replay. Thank you, brother. Uh, but I know it's kind of late, and I don't want to keep you all too long anymore. Uh, Maybe I'll finish it off with another story. A story that happened to me when I was in Germany. This is kind of like more of a dealing with something real. It happened to me two times. One time I was playing Op 4, which was the enemy, and we were in an M60 tank. It was cold, it was winter, there was ice on the ground, and I had to go use the restroom, do number two. So I grabbed my shovel, and I was going to go to the wool line, and I started digging a hole. I got ready to handle business. Next thing you know, I hear something making a grunt sound. When I turn around to look, I just see red eyes coming at me. And I didn't take care of business or nothing. I ran and I leaped on top of the tank. And the tank, M60, are pretty tall. When I landed on the back deck, I seen the back of the boar level to the back deck. That's how big the wild boar was. The wild boar has tusk over there. It was literally charging at me. That was an encounter I had. The boars are as big as cows in Germany. That's how massive they are. Uh, Boars is like their number one meat. You see it all the time in the stores in the States, like HEB, where they sell like a sandwich meat, the boar. That's they're huge, man. The wild boars are huge over there. Uh, there was another time I was pulling guard at an ammo point. For some reason, privates would always get stuck on details, right? So this ammo point it was kind of like a football field, right? Where in the ammo point is a big circle, like if it's a where you run, but you have to walk it to patrol to make sure the ammo is secured, that nobody's trying to steal ammo. So you have to walk the quad like that. So I was walking, and then I seen a little javelina with wild boar come in. There's another one that come in. I said, "Oh shit!" So they're coming at me. They're charging at me, the little boars. So I get on top of the deuce and a half. I'm on top of the deuce and a half, and there's like four wild boars running around the deuce and a half. And then I seen the big one, the mother, and it's pissed off. It's like, "Hey, I'm not messing with your children. They're messing with me." And she's running around the deuce and a half. So I stay on top of the deuce and a half, pulling guard, and I said, screw the ammo. So I'm not worried about the ammo. I'm worried about my life. So I spend the rest of the night on top of the deuce and a half, pulling guard, because the wild boars were trying to attack me. It's a memory that I have of Germany that everybody knew. When you go pull guard, be careful with the wild boars because don't mess with the little ones because Mama is always nearby, and Mama's huge. But in saying that, brothers sisters, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the likes. Hasta mañana. So tomorrow or tomorrow evening. I'm gonna try to go a little bit live sooner, maybe, so I have to go too late in the morning. And I would think of a topic to talk about tomorrow of an experience. But thank you all for tuning in. God bless you and your families. Brother Alex, I will continue to keep your prayer for you to heal. And again, I would like to say thank you for tuning in here, Spiritually Encrypted Encounters. And I still got to debunk another video. I know there's like a little lag going on. I still have to debunk another video that I haven't debunked yet. Whenever I do debunk it, if I do capture something, I'll share it with y'all. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed evening, and good morning and good night.